Okay, let's start. Hi Nathan, thanks for coming here to Hamburg and join us here at MOUZ. Maybe introduce yourself for the people who don't know you.
Mhm. So I'm Nathan Schmidt, also known as NBK. I'm 27. I play Counter-Strike professionally for 10, 11 years, around that. I've been a part of a lot of French teams, a part of one international team, MOUZ. I've played every role I think there is in Counter-Strike. And I'm just looking to be as good as possible with my team, and especially with MOUZ trying to bring and exploit all the talent that is going to be inside.
So obviously a big question that fans probably have regarding you is that you announced your retirement in a pretty big video.
Yeah.
And that you are moving on to Valorant.
Mm-hmm.
Can you maybe explain what the reasons are that you are not playing Valorant right now, but coming back to CSGO?
Yeah. So it's going to be very wide in the sense that 2021 was very challenging for me personally in many ways. It was kind of a year where I was doubting a lot of the things, and I started working with a sports psychologist back in March, and so we went over a lot of subjects, a lot of different ways of approaching the game, how to be a great teammate, a good leader, a good figure in a team, and a very wide range of subjects. And through all of that, yeah, a lot of things happened in a year, and the idea of getting into Valorant, that is a growing scene, was very attractive. And I still believe it is a good game and a good scene. But having also been diagnosed recently with autism syndrome disorder or spectrum disorder, there are two ways to say it, it also really comforted me in what I want to do next and what I want to be within the team. And with the offer of MOUZ that came out at the end of 2021, I think there was a lot of very good elements where I could see a great org, great talent, and great team overall, where the position that I would have within the roster is exactly where I want to be. That is more about helping the framework outside of the game and having full trust in Dexter to lead the team. And so a mix of all those elements that are like both personal and a lot of introspection and learning a lot of things about myself and how to handle a lot of things outside of the game, as well as having the right opportunity in a team that I believe in to win championships was what really mattered in the end. And so there were opportunities in Valorant. I practiced a lot in Valorant with teams, but there was always some element missing to really be where I want to be. And at this point in my career, I really want to be in a place where I believe in everyone and in winning trophies more than anything and exploiting everything that we can to have that. And so, yeah, all those elements combined, as well as small different things all around it, are the main reasons why I'm coming back in Counter-Strike and not pursuing in Valorant.
Mm. Can you maybe talk about the process, how you or MOUZ got in contact with you? And because it's pretty far-fetched, right, for org to like contact someone that just retired and saying that he doesn't want to play CSGO anymore. Can you maybe talk through that process?
Mm-hmm. So I think it was fairly simple in the sense that working with my agency, they have contacts with every org in the scene, probably, in both Counter-Strike and Valorant. And so, yeah, we just went through everyone when I decided that I was open to getting back in Counter-Strike in a team that would make sense, in the setting that would make sense. And yeah, the first talks happened and it was very fast to understand that I think it would be a good combination to make things work together. And so, yeah, it was just a matter of having initial talks between MOUZ and me personally, because I know where I am and where I want to be. And I think MOUZ understood that very well, and they can understand what I can bring to a roster with a good group put together. And it happened very naturally and very fast, honestly. And so I think it's a sign that it is a good thing for both parts to reach a happy conclusion.
Mm. It sounds like that you also had some talks already with your future teammates.
Yeah.
Can you maybe talk about that a bit?
Mm-hmm. So I did talk with Dexter, especially, because it's very important to know what we kind of want to have in the team for like the longer term and what we really want to implement. And because I will take space in the team, especially in terms of framework and how to do things overall to go in a good direction that it is going to be healthy for the team on the longer term. And a bit less to the other players. And it's something that is going to come in time, quite obviously, because we're going to spend a lot of time together. But I think we all have that natural respect for each other as players and persons, so that we can learn from each other and go in the same direction with good values attached to it. And so, the talks and the theory is sounding very, very nice and everything that we want to bring, how we want to do things. And now it's a matter of balancing it on a day-to-day basis to really make it work and see the consequences that are winning games and ultimately tournaments.
Mm. I mean, you're someone that kind of switched a lot of teams, right? You've seen a lot of the scene.
Yeah.
Is there like any similarities that you see in this roster that you've seen before, like in older rosters?
I think every roster is very particular because each player might have like big qualities or big things that they bring to the table, but they also have a lot of details, if you want, in what they bring as well, like in the team aspect and what they can bring to a whole group. And so that's why every group is going to be very different in how they're going to be put together and how it's going to work together. And what matters to me is really the combination of all of that for every player to make sense in the group and what they're going to bring and who is going to take space. And like it goes way beyond what role you're going to have in the game and how to make it work that way, but also how the dynamic of the team is going to be outside of the game. And it is, for example, something that I worked a lot with my sports psychologist on how to make everything work, because I'm going to be the most experienced player in the roster. And so I need to use the knowledge that I have and the experience that I have in the right way to make the group work as good as possible, which is something that sometimes I knew how to make a group work, but to a certain degree without taking into account certain factors or how to make some things work that are like going to be more in terms of relationship with players and how to shift the plan in the direction to make everyone happy in the group. And so it's something that I have worked a lot on over the past year. And now I'm extremely confident about what I can bring and how to bring it to everyone in the group. And so this is going to be an ongoing work. Obviously, there is a sports psychologist working with the team, and I'm still going to work individually with my sports psychologist so that I can just be the best version as a teammate as possible to keep the core values and keep the sheer will of winning in competition, but mixing it properly with making everyone happy and being in the same direction.
So what would you say is the role of NBK and what qualities does he bring to the table to a team like MOUZ?
Well, I think the big obvious ones are going to be the experience and the direction linked to it, where I think I have a good view on how a functional team is working, and also at pointing out how how to see a dysfunctional team, and so being able to kind of troubleshoot things and find solutions. And it's something that in all my teams I always had a solution to any problem, and so we're never going to hit a wall where we don't really know what to do next and just shooting in the dark. I always have very well-educated guesses as to what direction we need to take, how we need to approach a certain thing or a certain problem, and solving it in the end. So a very emotionless approach, if you want, that is very pragmatic in how the team is, how it is functioning, and sometimes how we need to make things evolve or change in order to reach a point where we can win, because that's the goal, I think, of every team competing, is not only to be there, but to be able to reach the next level of winning trophies, which is something different. And so on that end, I think I'm very confident in the fact that I can bring that. And then when it comes down to the game, now I have way less questions in my own mind as to what I want to do, what role I want to have, what do I exactly want to do, being recently diagnosed. And so it helps me really focus on separating things and giving full trust to a person for the direction tactically, and also how to build a group properly. And it's going to allow me to focus much more on my own game and what impact I can have to players around me, because I would obviously have a say in the game on how to do things. And so, yeah, it's really about bringing focus back to how to be as impactful as possible as a player, whether it being seen by ratings or performances or not, and making other players shine and play to the best of their potential. So putting everyone in their best roles, and for me to play the roles that are a bit left out, if you will, and making the best out of it. This is something that's, to me, when I join a team, I'm completely selfless, and the only thing that matters is the team. And that's going to be one thing that I will bring for sure to that group. And but it doesn't discount the fact that I'm gonna play hard and I'm gonna shoot hard like I always have, and always focus on the key important kills. Even if it's just one, sometimes you just need one kill to unlock a round, and that's something I think I've become fairly good at. So I'm gonna do that, and hopefully everything will work out.
I think you will fit right in here with your pragmatic approach.
Yeah.
That's really German.
Yeah, true.
So let's talk about your goals. What are your goals with MOUZ?
Yeah. So with MOUZ, like overall, it's something that we still have to set, because actually I think it's important to set goals as a team and as a group for like a year, for example. Seeing how everyone sees things and the evolution of the group, because we're obviously not going to come in and pretend that we're going to be top one within 3 weeks. That's realistically impossible. So it's a matter of making it properly to, like set what direction you want to have, and like what are the goals that you want to reach throughout a year. And the idea is to always go up. Like, you can stabilize at time and not really feel like you're evolving too much, but the goal is still never to go down and to always improve, always build on something. And so it's very important to have very strong fundamentals in a group and in a team, and that's probably the most important thing to do. And then upon that you can build everything, and then it's up to players to be the artists in the game, to like create all the good strategies, play individually and do crazy stuff. And so the main focus for the next weeks is really going to be trying to create all of that. And like, even for Katowice, for example, we know we're not going to be ready, because we're not going to have the team play, we're going to have the group experience that all the teams would have. So what we have to do is to have the best fundamentals possible, and then to just explode at the tournament and have individually players that are just going to destroy people, and have trick plays, have things that will maybe not last on the long term, but that can surprise over one tournament, and while still building the fundamentals. So to me, that's the only thing that I can really speak about as a team, because those are like natural things, if you will, of putting a team together. And then over the year, the goal is to always go up, always grind, and always do a little bit better. Even if it's just like 2-3% more than you were the last tournament, then it's okay, you're still going up. And that's the general perspective that I like to have in teams. So that's how I see it.
What about your personal goals? Do you have any personal goals?
I do have some, but they're not necessarily linked to the game directly. The first thing that is going to be the main change for me is that I'm going to work almost full-time with a personal trainer, so that I can bring different aspects to feel like 100% into the game and really feel well surrounded, to think less about all the other things and how I can gain performance, but have someone that is going to be there to do that and to have everything possible in many ways to bring the best performances possible. And then in a game, my only goals are linked to the team. If the team is successful, I will be happy. Individually, I mean, I always aim to be the best player possible. I play a lot of deathmatch. I'm always very strong individually and always present. The big goal is always to be as impactful as possible, more than anything, because numbers say a thing, but impact on the server says another. And that's always going to be the goal, the team performing. And so everything that I do is only to make the team better and possibly win more. So yeah, my individual goals are making the team win more than anything, and because I know that I'm putting the work individually to put on my own weight and more if needed.
Last questions. There are a lot of MOUZ fans that have question marks around your signing. If you would have the chance to talk to them, what would you tell them?
Well, the main thing is, I think every single one over 10 years of my teams have been successful. The worst was probably, reaching number 6 in the world, I think, out of all the teams. Success is coming. It's just a matter of when it will come. But I have no doubt that it's going to work. And I see things in a way that maybe others don't, especially in the general community, if you will. And by putting certain elements in certain places, exploiting the talent of youngster players that are very eager to work a lot and to push the limits, and surrounding that with a great team culture, I think people are gonna underestimate us at the beginning, but I'm very confident that people are gonna start respecting the MOUZ name during this coming year.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.